Let's review this assessment on World War I so that you guys are prepared for the upcoming New York State regions. Let's take a look at number one. I'd see it says a major cause of World War I was what? We've got a decline in the policy of imperialism. No, I know that's not an issue, so I'm going to cross that out. The existence of opposing alliances. You know what? I think that might be it. Let's take a look at option C and then D. An increase in acts of aggression by England. No, absolutely not. Or was it the spread of communism throughout Europe? Communism doesn't really take hold until later on in the century, so the answer to number one is option B, the existence of opposing alliances. Number two, Archduke Franz Ferdinand assassinated. Germany declares war on Russia and France. Peace treaty signed at Versailles. So it says which event is referred to in these headlines. We've got three headlines. Is it the Franco-Prussian War, Crimea War, World War I, Cold War? Obviously, the answer is option C, World War I, because we've been talking about this quite a bit lately, and also because the quiz is on World War I. Number three, the Balkans were referred to as the powder keg of Europe in the period before World War I because of their, what? Was it manufacturing ability? No, not their manufacturing ability. Was it because of their stockpiles of weapons? Maybe. Well, let's keep looking. Was it because of their nationalistic rivalries? That seems also plausible. And we'll take a look at the last one. Their economic strength. No, that's not it at all. So, out of option B and C, the correct answer is C, nationalistic rivalries. Number four, it says, which generalization about the origin of war is best supported by the historical background of World War I? So, again, we're talking about the origins, generalizations about the origin of war, and we know that another word for origin is start. So, what was the impetus or start of World War I? Was it years of continuing international tension often lead to war? Possibly. Was it a policy of appeasement that can delay but not prevent an outbreak of war? Possibly. Was it war results from reliance on advances in technology? That's certainly true, but that's not relevant in World War I. Was it D? Religious hatreds often lead to war. That's also true. We see that quite often, especially these days. However, that's not relevant as it relates to World War I. The correct answer is A. So there's quite a bit of tension in the years prior to the start of World War I in 1914. Number five, growing nationalism and militarism in Europe and the creation of secret alliances were what? Well, first, what is nationalism? Nationalism is sort of love of your country. You think that it's superior to other countries, or patriotism. And we know that militarism is this sort of increase in weapons. And so these led to what? Were they reasons for the rise of democracy? No, not at all. Were they causes of World War I? You know what? I don't even really need to read C and D, although I am. Were these requirements for economic development not reasons for the collapse of communism? No. The correct answer, of course, is B, the causes of World War I. Number six, I see, is based on this excerpt of a poem written about World War I, and I'm going to first look at our options. It says, which idea is best expressed in this excerpt from Brooks' poems? We've got pacifism, we've got nationalism, neutrality, and anarchy. I know pacifism is this idea of nonviolence. Nationalism is a love of country and this idea that it's better than other countries. Neutrality is when you want to sort of stay out of the conflict, stay on the sidelines. And anarchy is this idea of chaos, every quote-unquote man for himself. And so let's take a look at this excerpt, thinking about these four ideas. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I do, however, see some reoccurring words. I see da-da-da-da-da-da England, da-da-da-da-da-da England, something flowers to love, da-da-da-da England. I see English air, blessed by the sons of home. It seems like a love poem to the country of England, which makes me think that my best guess and the correct answer for this question is nationalism, love of country. What was the immediate cause of World War I in Europe? Was it the start of the Civil War in Russia? No. Was it the sinking of the British liner? No, although these kinds of incidents are the starts of other wars, notably the war in Vietnam. I see option 6, the assassination of the heir to the throne of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Yeah, we talked about the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. I know that's the answer. Was it the attack of Poland by the German army? Actually, that's how World War II started in 1939. I actually do know that, but in this answer, for this question, the answer is obviously C. Bombardments, barrage, curtain fire, mines, gas, tanks, machine guns, hand grenades, words, 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 but they hold the horror of war. So this quotation best describes what? Was it technological developments used during World War I? These bombings, the curtain fire, the mines, the gas. We also talked about the barbed wire. Are these technological developments? I think they are. Maybe this is the answer. Does this have to do with formations of alliances in World War II? No. Was it tension between superpowers during the Cold War? Nope. Or was it option number D, protest against reforms during the Indian independence movement? No, that's not relevant. The option is A, technological developments. Women of Britain say go. Implied in that is sort of maybe have a good time, explore the world, etc., etc. Let's take a look at this question. This World War I poster is an example of what? Is it diversity? I don't see much diversity in there. Maybe diversity of age, but not much else. So I'm going to cross that out. Is it toleration? No. Is it dissent? Not really. Or is it propaganda? It certainly is propaganda. And we know that propaganda is this idea that you want to sort of sell an idea or a movement or a political perspective, sometimes with misleading information. And so here we see these soldiers going off to war. This is not the reality of what sort of soldiers were experiencing. We know that World War I was often very ugly, quote unquote, and miserable. So this is an example of course, propaganda. Option number D. Question number 10, a throwback. The mandate of heaven in traditional China was most similar to what? Was it divine right of kings in Western Europe? That seems highly likely. I'll put a little question mark and we can return to it. The political role of the Japanese emperor after World War II? No, not at all. Was it a rule of the Directory during French Revolution? That does not seem familiar. Or is it the power of the British monarch in the 20th century? Well, I think that I know it's kind of related. It's similar to what the kings and other royalty in Britain, but I'm not sure that's the correct answer. I do believe it is, however, the divine right. The key word in here is divine and mandate of heaven because both suggest that power is granted by a deity or heaven or God or some sort of spiritual being. Last question, number 11, it says, the method of free inquiry allows man to expose opinions to public examination, to submit them to evidence, and to keep avenues of investigation open. So this idea, this philosophy, is talking about critical thinking. It's talking about the sort of scientific approach. And what would the best answer? What is this the best characteristic of? Is it the Augustan age and the Roman Empire? Nope. Is it feudalism during the medieval period? I know right off the bat it's not. Is it enlightenment of the late 17th century? It sounds like it, and it's certainly not totalitarianism of the 20th century. The correct answer is C.